I watched the finale of Last of Us last night. Let's talk about it a little bit. What'd you think?
I think you articulated it pretty well last week
Yeah.
when we talked about it. But you're saying that the way that they've told the story so far, they've kind of rushed a little bit. That whatever this arc is that Joel and Ellie are on, you don't really get to the sense of it like you do in the game, and so
Yeah.
it doesn't hit the same at the end when all that shit goes down.
If you don't think there's hope for the world, why bother going on?
You haven't seen the world, so you don't know. You keep going for family.
I'm not family.
No? You're cargo.
It couldn't have, really, at the end of the
Right.
day. And I'm curious. I'll be curious to see what Marvin has to say about it. I'm curious how that ending lands for people who aren't familiar with the game.
Protector arc is the word I was trying to look for there.
Not.
Yeah.
I don't even. It's not really I don't know if I'd call it a protector arc. It's like literally a father-daughter arc, right?
Yeah.
Like you meet Joel. Joel is clearly established from the beginning as a broken man, right? Because his daughter died. And then later on in the game and in the story, he admits to Ellie that he tried to kill himself unsuccessfully because he thought was like, what's the fucking point of going on? Like the world is broken. I'm a broken man. I have my daughter's lost. Like, what's the fucking point? And Ellie says to him something along the lines of like, oh, like with time you learned how to like live again or something like that. And he says, no, it wasn't time that did it. Saying basically, no, it was you that did it. Like you're the one that healed me. So it's this transformation into a like, it's like got 3 stages. It's like job. I'm gonna deliver
Right.
you to get you where I'm going, so I
Yeah,
can get a
that's the
car battery.
protector arc that turns into the
To protector,
father-daughter.
then
Yeah.
to father daughter.
Well, that's what his job was, though, was
Yeah.
to protect her and get her there.
Right.
So,
So, and the father daughter thing, I think, is made very clear in the show. It's just what I was saying is like the deeper nuances to it, with all that emotion and feeling and stuff. You don't really get a sense of it in the show because it's told in 9 hours as opposed to 15 to 20 hours in the game that you spend with them, and you're fighting fucking monsters and bad guys and you're scrounging ammo and fucking shit. At least if you play on the hard difficulty, they give you limited ammo and you're finding parts to make bandages and like stay alive and all this stuff. And as I've said before, in a video game, like you are the character you're playing in a sense. So it hits you much more emotionally. And by the time they hit you with the scene that we got in the finale, which made me weep, but the giraffe scene, it's such a huge moment in the game because it's like, and there's a lot of little moments like that in the game, but it's just a moment of calm in like this fucking crazy, like shitstorm situation that you're in. And, it's a beautiful scene in the game, and they did it great in the show too. It's just like it's just missing that little extra that you
Right.
could only get by that point in the game. You've played for 12, 13 hours at that point, so it's just different. But that being said, I mean, I think they did the best job they possibly could have with the time that they decided to do it in. Again, I don't know why they decided to do it in 9 episodes. Normally HBO does 8. I think the show would have done really great with like 1 or 2 more episodes at least.
Yeah.
And then there's the added thing too, is that like they chose to, out of 9 episodes, they chose to give 3 episodes really where they veered away from the Joel and Ellie story to just give us an Ellie backstory, a Bill story, and another Ellie story where she's off on her own. And I get that those things are meant to and do in some ways strengthen the Joel and Ellie thing. But I would have liked to just have spent more time with Joel and Ellie at the end of the day. And I know
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, and I know your big complaint for the show, and Ed's as well, shout out, is that
Shout out.
there were like almost no infected in the show. Minus like 1 or 2 moments. There's a couple,
Craig,
but
Craig and Druckmann actually addressed that, I think, a little bit. I don't remember where was that, but they were basically saying, the way we wrote the scenes, it's different than playing the game. You play the game, your kill counts, triple digits.
mm-hmm.
And we felt that the story, the way we wanted to tell the story, some of those fight scenes just didn't really fit the narrative of what we were trying to say. But it still feels like you didn't see them fighting for their lives too much against. I mean, they be by the at the end of the game, you're basically a professional and you know how to sneak around with like even a sneaking around them scene.
Yeah.
Like we know what these things are. We know how to get around them quietly because you sneak around them in the game and shit. We didn't get any of that, so it was. Yeah, they said there'll be more in season two. Season two will probably go more than one season, and they're going to do a little bit of their own twist on it, I guess. Yeah, it feels like they wanted to take season one and make it as true to the game as they felt like they could.
Yeah.
And that's with part two of the game, season two. It's not just going to be season two. They're going to take more liberties for themselves to tell their own version of the story with differences, it sounds like. So season two and three and maybe even four, like I don't know how long they're going to draw it out, but
I think that would be a mistake, in my humble opinion.
I mean, I thought it was a pretty good season. It was very disappointing the lack of infected, but
I mean, I get where they're coming from with the infected, because, and I said this to you, playing devil's advocate, the infected are very much just like they're just like map hazards, essentially. They're just there to kind of get in your way. When the real drama and the real danger is like the human encounters that they have, right?
well, it's both. It's
It is
varying
it
degrees.
no, it is both, but I'm saying yeah, I guess. But
Bloater's a real danger.
that's true. Either way, though, it's those experiences that bring them closer together. It's them fighting for survival at every step of their journey together. You don't really see them fighting for survival in the show. You know and
No.
understand, like, yeah, they are, but that's because we as a culture are trained to know that based on the mountains and mountains of content we have in a post-apocalyptic story.
Well, even Marlene said it like in the episode. She's like, how did you do this? Like I came,
Yeah.
I came with the whole squadron and they all fucking died and they had almost killed me. Like you brought her this far and it was just you two. Like we didn't really get to see that struggle, which really puts a nice little bow on the story in the game because you
Mhm.
lived that struggle by fighting
And because
hundreds and hundreds of
yeah,
enemies.
and based on what Marlene says, you understand that, like, it's because of their bond that they were able to survive.
Right.
It was because of their tightness that they were able to, like, get through all the things that they got through. So, yeah, definitely, I think the one, I don't know, gripe, I guess, I have with the show is that by the end, they didn't fully sell me on that relationship. Now, I checked with people who watched it that didn't play the game, and they all loved it, and they were like, "Oh man, he lied," and da, da, da. But they're not really fully experiencing it, in my opinion.
I'm taking you with me. You do what I say when I say it. You got any advice on the best way west?
Yeah, go east. If you come this far, then you know what's out there.
You're not gonna scare us.
Scared him?
That said, I think they did the best they could with the time that they were given. It's certainly the best video game adaptation we've ever had, I think. And it was a fantastic show, like, no question. Pedro was great. Bella Ramsey was great. Pretty much everybody who appeared in the show was great. And yeah, they did a really good job with it. But
Yeah.
it's not the game, is really what it boils down to. Which is fine. I mean, that's fine. It couldn't have been the game. Again, it's a different medium. It has different time. It has different way to tell a story. There's a lot of stuff in the game that is just you guys walking in the woods and you're talking to one another, where you as Joel have a choice to, like, respond to her question or statement or something like that. So
Yeah.
it's a little bit different. I'm
It's
excited.
hard to do that character development in a show.
Yeah, I mean,
Really.
I'll for sure. I'm on board for season 2 at this point. I hope they don't change it too much from the game. That's when things get, me. I fucking can't stand when writers start to take liberties because that's when things start to go bad. But as long as Neil
Yeah.
Druckmann, I think, is a part of it, he'll.
They did it with The Witcher.
Yeah, well, don't even get me started on The Witcher. But yeah, I mean, people seem to love it. It's getting a great response from audiences, so I wouldn't be surprised if they tried to drag it out like an extra season or two. Personally, I think the second season.
Well, it'll definitely be 2. Is it going to be 3?
I think it has to be 2. There's no way they could fit everything in the second game into one season. They barely fit everything in the first game into one season. So,
yeah, it's definitely 2 seasons. The question is, will they push it 3 seasons?
Yeah, I don't know, but yeah, I really liked it. It was nice to see Ashley Johnson make an appearance in this episode. We knew obviously she was cameoed. I didn't think they would have had her be Ellie's mom. That gave me a nice little cry.
Yep.
It was very sweet and on the nose that she's Ellie's mom because she is Ellie in the game. Right? It makes sense. She essentially created the character, so
Ellie the First. Yep.
Yeah. So that made sense. Like, I just cry hearing her voice. It's like unbelievable. So yeah, no, I really liked it. It's got a 9.1 on IMDb. I think I would probably give it like an 8.5. What about you?
8.5. Yeah, that sounds about right.
Yeah, that's fair. I can't wait to see what Marvin had to say because Marvin, like me, when he calls her baby girl in the previous episode, Marvin was like, I don't know if I didn't really feel it when it happened. And I didn't either. I was like, oh, that was kind of out of nowhere. And in the game, it's a big moment. I think you could even hear, what's his name, talk about it. God damn it. I know his name. I'm having a brain fart. Anyway, he said in HBO does like all those like after show thingies. And I caught his on his Twitter. And he said that like the baby girl thing, he actually came up with it when they were voice acting. And he did it naturally when they were doing the scene where Joel is dealing with his daughter's death. And he picks her up after she gets shot. And he says, it's going to be all right, baby girl. And Neil Druckmann was like, what is that you said? And he repeated it, and he's like, that's what you're going to call Ellie. So it was like an organic decision, and it represents him accepting Ellie as his daughter. And again, by that point in the show, you're just like, I get it, because I've watched the game. I played the game, but like, I don't know. Doesn't sell too much, but whatever. It was fine. I liked it.
Yeah, it definitely didn't hit the same, but it was still
a
good show.
Yeah, for sure. All right, 8.5s out of the both of us. That's pretty cool.